Byron Hines here again with an overview of the OpenStack dashboard, also known as Horizon. Now, the OpenStack dashboard is probably the most visible part of OpenStack that almost everyone who uses OpenStack in any way has seen this in some way. It is the graphical interface to OpenStack services, and it's presented as a web page. Most of OpenStack is written in Python, but there is a little bit of JavaScript, and I think that most of the JavaScript appears here in the graphical interface. Now, of course, as the interface to OpenStack, it interacts with all of the other OpenStack resources. Through Horizon, you can do things like access, provision, and automate the cloud-based resources. And it is a modular and customizable web application. Why would we want to customize it? Well, think of this. If you're an ISP, you may not care whether or not your users know that you're using OpenStack, but you probably want them to see your logo and your contact information, and perhaps you have your particular terms or your particular templates that are available for them. So you want to customize that. Perhaps within an independent business where you're offering this internally as a private cloud, again, you might want to have your own customizations or your own links to your own stuff. So that's exactly built in and designed from the ground up with the Horizon component of OpenStack. Now, the dashboard or Horizon is the end user UI for OpenStack. But keep in mind, when we say end user from the OpenStack, we're not talking about Aunt Mary accessing her web-based email. We're talking about the people who set those up. So end user is kind of a bit of an awkward term to use sometimes in regard to OpenStack. So think about that as perhaps the administrator or the skilled user who wants to manage the virtual machines and services being provided by OpenStack. Don't think of it in terms of the end consumer accessing the individual things that you might host on top of OpenStack, but think of it as the people who are using OpenStack, who are controlling how OpenStack is set up. We differentiate these users from developers. So OpenStack dashboard is not just for the people who write code or customize OpenStack. It's where the users of OpenStack, again, those administrative users, those technology people, are interacting with the dashboard to control how OpenStack does, to create instances, to begin with authenticating by logging in, managing images that you may have, configuring access and security on instances, launching and managing those instances, managing networks, managing object containers, managing stacks, managing databases. So you can manage OpenStack through a number of different ways. There's a client or a command line interface, a CLI. There's an API, so you can write your own code directly to talk to it. You can write your own applications. You can do whatever you want in that regard. But most of the time when people start out, and often for 99% of their operations, they may only work with the dashboard. So it largely depends on whether you're a command line interface oriented kind of person or a web-based GUI type of person, and where you sit in the organization. You're not as likely to deploy a command line across to thousands of users who are using your public cloud, but you are likely to give them all access to the dashboard web application.